Hello everyone, I am Rahul and welcome back to my channel Rahul Education Academy. Continuing with our discussion on atomic models, we will be discussing about Rutherford's atomic model, or more specifically Rutherford's nuclear model of atom. This model was result of the observation made from the alpha particle scattering experiment performed by Rutherford and his colleagues Hans Giner and Ernest Mardison. This experiment is also famously known as Goldfoil experiment. This experiment not only proposed a more realistic atomic model, it was also through this experiment that the existence of nucleus was established. This experiment and the consequent observation made was critical in establishing that the plum pudding model, which was proposed by J.J. Thomson in 1904, cannot be the correct description of an atom. If you want to know more about the plum pudding model, please look back at the previous video where I have explained in detail about the plum pudding model of atom. Coming back to the alpha scattering experiment, as I previously mentioned, the experiment was performed by Rutherford and his colleagues. So let us first understand about the setup of the experiment. In the alpha scattering experiment, you had a source of alpha particles coming out of a radioactive material. You had a very thin gold foil. The thickness of this gold foil was about 100 nanometers. So you can realize that how thin it is. Apart from the source of the alpha particle and the gold foil, you also had a circular disc surrounding the gold foil with an opening. This gold foil was made up of fluorescent zinc sulfide. So the purpose was that when a alpha particle coming out of a source will strike the gold foil, it will either pass through or it will deflect. And as soon as the deflected alpha particles struck this zinc sulfide circular coil, they will produce a spark or produce a light. Since the plum pudding model was most accepted atomic model at that time, Rutherford and his colleagues expected that this experiment will produce the result accordingly. According to plum pudding model, as we seen, the mass of atom is divided uniformly. That is, as I explained in the previous video, you have a region of entire positive charge inside the atom and electrons, negatively charged electrons are distributed inside it. Negatively charged electrons are distributed inside it. So because of this model, it was expected that the mass of the atom is uniformly divided inside the atom. Because of this, it was expected from the alpha particle scattering experiment that the alpha particle will slow down upon impact with the gold foil, upon the impact with the atoms present inside the gold foil, and there will be a deflection in the path of the alpha particles, but that deflection will be very small. This is because alpha particles are highly energetic and there is very less chance that there will be a large deflection when alpha particle will strike the gold atom. But the observation made during this experiment was totally unexpected and surprising. The first observation made from this experiment was that only a very small fraction of alpha particles were deflected upon impact with gold foil, and no deflection was observed. So, in this experiment, alpha particle, sorry, alpha particle is leaving the radioactive source, and when it is striking in a straight line, and when it is striking the gold foil, it is totally unscattered and it directly hit back at the zinc sulfide fluorescent coil without any deflection. No deflection and neither no slowing of speed in the alpha particle. And majority of those alpha particle shown this property, like you can say that more than 99% of particles had these properties, like where they show no deflection, and upon interacting with the atoms present in gold foil, they just go back and go through the gold foil undeflected. The second observation that they made was that a very small fraction of alpha particle were deflected upon impact with gold foil, and angle of deflection was very small. So in several cases, in some of the cases, they observed that upon interacting with the atom of gold foil, there is a deflection in the direction of the alpha particle, but that deflection is very less. They deflect, but the deflection is very less. The deflection is very less. And in a very tiny amount of alpha particles, this is the third information. In very tiny number of alpha particle, deflection was directly by 180 degree. That means the alpha particle leaves the source, it struck the gold coil, and then it comes back within the same direction, 180 degree, without any deflection. So there were three observations. Most of the alpha particle pass through the gold coil without any deflection. A few number of alpha particle deflect by a slight amount of angle, and in very rare cases, almost 1 in 2000 alpha particle deflect back at the angle of 180 degree. So this was surprising, because how can alpha particle, which is very energetic, can come back directly back to its source upon interacting with the gold atoms? Based on these three observations, Rutherford concluded that atom is mostly empty. So let us first understand why he concluded that atom is mostly empty. The reason he concluded this was that because most of the alpha particle passed through the gold foil without any deflection. That is, it was not affected by the neighborhood of atoms present in the gold foil inside. So from this it can that the atoms are mostly empty. That's why even though the alpha particle is passing through the atom of gold foil, it is not causing any deflection. So atoms are mostly empty. Now, in the two observations, that is, in some cases, they showed deflection, whether it was by small angle or whether it was by 180 degree. Some of the alpha particle showed deflection. So what this tell us? This deflection, whether by small angle or by a very large angle, was because of presence of a positively charged region in the center of the atom. So let us re-understand this point. So what Rutherford wanted to say that you have the atom, but it is mostly empty. Inside the atom, you have a region of positive charge centered around the atom, and this is a positive charge, and it will cause the deflection of the alpha particles. This is because alpha particles are positively charged, and since like charge repels, if a alpha particle struck a positively charged particle, they will repel each other. And why in some cases deflection were large and why in some cases deflection was high? So let us understand that. So now let us consider this as the positively charged region present inside the atom at the center of the atom. Now you have alpha particles coming. When they are striking at the very center, they will reflect back. They will reflect back to the source in some cases. But if they are striking on the edge like this, the deflection will be less. If they are striking more closer to the very center, the deflection will be large. So the extent of deflection of a given alpha particle depends on where exactly it is striking the positively charged region present on the central region of the atom, and the rest of the region of atom is empty. So if this is the atom, so if a ray passes through this region, it will be undeflected. It will be undeflected. But if the alpha particle gets struck with the positive region present inside the atom, it will be deflected. And this completely changed the atomic model. Because of this observation, it was very clear that plum pudding model was wrong. And the positive charge is not uniformly distributed inside the atom, but it is concentrated in a finite region, mostly at the exactly at the center of the atom. So it is that region which is causing the deflection of the alpha particles. Now you might have noticed I am again and again saying the positive region, positive region. Today we know that this positive region inside the atom is called nucleus. But when Rutherford and his colleagues performed this experiment and subsequently explained the observation made in this experiment, they didn't use the term nucleus. It was later that this positive region of positively charged region of space inside the atom was termed nucleus. And since the alpha particle scattering experiment essentially established the presence of a concentrated region of positive charge, this model was known as Rutherford nuclear model of atom. Because we knew about electrons, we knew about by that time, but we didn't knew that how the positive charge is distributed, and it was Rutherford alpha particle scattering experiment which that specified that the nucleus is present in a specific region of atom. While this atomic model proposed by Rutherford was more accurate representation of the atomic model, it also had drawbacks. And based on the drawbacks of the Rutherford nuclear model of atom, there was another another atomic model. So in the next video, we will be not only discussing about the shortcoming of the Rutherford nuclear model of atom, which he derived using the alpha particle scattering experiment. We will be also discussing more about atomic model. So that's it for today's guys. I hope you understand today about the Rutherford model of atom. You might have also understood about, I hope, about why the previous plum pudding model was wrong, how the alpha scattering experiment led to the discovery of nucleus, also how the presence of a nucleus result in different scattering pattern of alpha particles. If you have any doubt or question regarding the Rutherford model or any other thing which I have teach till now, please mention it in the comment section. I will try to answer it as soon as possible. I will also request you to like, comment, subscribe into my videos so that it will encourage me to create more videos regularly. See you again guys. Thank you.